Okay, dear students, today I want to give you some important, very short answer questions from chemistry first year. The first question was define Zeeman and Stark effects. I repeat the question: define Zeeman and Stark effects. And the second one is state Graham's law of diffusion. State Graham's law of diffusion. And third one is define dipole moment and write its units. Third question: define dipole moment and write its units. Fourth question: what is meant by inert pair effect? Fourth question is what is meant by inert pair effect? And the fifth one: what is inorganic benzene? What is inorganic benzene and write its structure. I repeat the question: what is inorganic benzene and write its structure. And the sixth one is write the electronic configurations of chromium and copper. I repeat this one. Sixth one: write the electronic configurations of copper and chromium and copper. And seventh question: what is synthesis gas? This is also asked as what is syngas, simply. What is synthesis gas or what is syngas? And eighth one: find the oxidation state or oxidation number of manganese in K2MnO4. I repeat the question: find the oxidation number of manganese in K2MnO4. And the ninth one: why carbon monoxide? CO is the formula of carbon monoxide. Why CO is poisonous? I repeat this one: why carbon monoxide is poisonous. And the 10th question: calculate the kinetic energy of 2 moles of nitrogen at 27 degrees centigrade. I repeat the question: calculate the kinetic energy of 2 moles of nitrogen at 27 degrees centigrade. Now see. Okay, now coming to the answers. The first one is define Zeeman and Stark effect. In that, the Zeeman effect. Here the Zeeman effect is defined as the splitting up of the spectral lines. The splitting up of the spectral lines under the influence of magnetic field. The splitting up of the spectral lines under the influence of magnetic field is known as Zeeman effect. And the second one is Stark effect. This was defined as the splitting up of spectral lines under the influence of electric field. I repeat this one: Stark effect is defined the splitting up of spectral lines under the influence of electric field. So these two are the Zeeman effect and Stark effect. And the next one, second question answer was what is state and explain Graham's law of diffusion. Graham's law. Here Grahams is the name of scientist. He derived the law relation to diffusion and density. Now the rate of diffusion of a given mass of gas. The rate of diffusion of a given mass of gas at a given pressure and temperature is inversely proportional to square root of its density. Inversely proportional to square root of its density. This is also, in another way also, it will be defined as under the similar conditions of temperature and pressure. Under the similar conditions of temperature and pressure, the rate of diffusion of a gas, given mass of gas, is inversely proportional to its square root of its density. Under similar conditions of temperature and pressure, the rate of diffusion of a given mass of gas is inversely proportional to square root of its density. So R is inversely proportional to square root of its density. And here if you substitute in place of density is nothing but mass per unit volume. So here substituting in place of D is equal to m by V. So you are automatically getting the rate of diffusion is also inversely proportional to square root of its molecular mass. Rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to square root of its molecular mass, where volume was constant. So from Graham's law we can find diffusion of gases. Which gas? Here if any four three are gases and their formula are given, and which was diffuses faster. In the next video you can see that one. Next one, dipole moment. Here dipole moment, dipole means 2 poles. Here if you take a charge, positive charge and negative charge like that, so dipole moment. Here if you take a molecule which was partially assigned some charges, plus delta and minus delta like that. If you take HCl molecule, it has partial positive charge on H ion and H atom, and partial negative charge on chloride atom. So the two charges are separated by a small distance. So regarding to these two, the dipole moment is defined as the product of magnitude of charge and the distance between the charges. The product of magnitude of charge and the distance between the charges. So either of the charges we can take, either positive or negative, but charge will be same. So mu is nothing but the dipole moment is the product of charge and distance, q into d only. Mu is equal to q into d. Q is measured in terms of coulombs, and distance is measured in terms of meter. Coulomb meter is equal to debye. The SI units, the direct units of measuring dipole moments are nothing but debye, which is equal to coulomb meter. Coulomb is the unit for measuring charge, and d is the distance measured in terms of meters. So that is about dipole moment. I repeat the answer once. The product of magnitude of charge and distance between the charges. Very simple. Mu is equal to charge into distance, that is equal to q into d only, and its units are debye, debye, debye. And the fourth answer, inert pair effect. This was observed in some of the metals like lead and thallium in p block elements. Here inert pair effect, inertness means reluctance only, it is inability. Inert means inability, pair means a pair of electrons here. So inert pair effect, the reluctance of ns2 electrons, the reluctance of ns2 electrons to take part in chemical bonding. So ns2 electrons shows inertness towards the taking part in chemical bonding. So that property of an atom or element is nothing but inert pair effect only. So in some oxidation states only some of the elements are more stable. In that case we are explaining the reason for the stability of the particular atoms like thallium and lead. Inert pair effect is an important topic only. And the next one, so inert pair effect, I repeat this one, the reluctance of ns2 electrons to take part in chemical bonding is known as inert pair effect. The fifth one is inorganic benzene. Here inorganic benzene is B3N3H6. The formula of inorganic benzene is B3N3H6, which is called as borazole or borazine. Here when diborane was heated strongly with ammonia, then we are getting diborate of diammonium. So from that we are getting further it is in heating, you will get borazole or borazine, B3N3H6. So this is known as inorganic benzene. Now the structure BN is arranged in the form of like a benzene C6H6. In C6H6 we are getting all 6 carbons and 6 hydrogens. Here 3 boron atoms and 3 nitrogen atoms alternately arranged like the benzene ring, and all hydrogen atoms will be take the planar structure. So BN, and there in benzene also there are alternate 3 double bonds will be there. Here also alternate double bonds will be present in between BN, like that only. So this is the structure of inorganic benzene. So it is similar to that of the benzene structure, which was C6H6, like this only. So inorganic benzene is nothing but borazine or borazole, B3N3H6. So the structure is like that only. Okay, the sixth answer for the sixth question is write the electronic configurations for chromium and copper. Here if you take chromium, its atomic number is 24. Here chromium and copper shows deviation in their electronic configurations. Actual configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d4 only. Actually what is given on the board is actual configuration. The configuration should be like that actually, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d4 only. But here I wrote this chromium 24, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 3d5. Half fill or full fill orbitals are more stable. For getting stability, these two atoms, chromium and copper, shows deviation in their electronic configurations. Actually they had. Is clear or not? Here chromium configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 3d5. But according to Aufbau principle like that, it will be 4s to 3d4 only, but getting stability, these are off field. 3d orbital is off field and 4s is also off field. So for off field orbitals are more stable than the respective configuration. So the configuration of chromium should be written like this only: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, and 4s1, 3d5, or 3d5, 4s1, whatever it may be. And next one, copper also shows the deviation in its electronic configuration, and its atomic number is 29. Its actual configuration: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, 3d10. For getting stability only, it shows the deviation for actual configuration from its actual configuration. The actual configuration should be 4s2, 3d9. So one of the electron only present in 4s orbital, and take 3d take 10 electrons. So copper and chromium shows deviation in their electronic configurations, but actually they had. So copper electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1, and 3d10. What the reason behind that is, half filled or full filled orbitals are more stable. For getting stability, they shows the deviation in their electronic configuration. That is, these are the configurations for copper and chromium, or chromium and copper. Next one, seventh answer is why carbon monoxide is poisonous. Here, when the breathing unexpected, if carbon monoxide is a slightly poisonous gas, so when it enters into the human body, it directly combines with the hemoglobin of blood and forms a complex compound which is called as carboxyhemoglobin. When it enters into the human body, it combines with blood, hemoglobin of blood, and forms carboxyhemoglobin, which is a complex compound, and that complex compound is 300 times complex than that of the oxyhemoglobin. So that's why a complex compound, for the breaking up the complex compound, it takes a lot of time than the oxyhemoglobin. So that's why carbon monoxide is poisonous, because of this reason. Why? When it was combined with hemoglobin of blood, it forms carboxyhemoglobin, and it is a very complex compound, and its complexness is 300 times greater than oxyhemoglobin. So carbon monoxide is poisonous. For this, we are using, for breaking up of this complex molecules into simple molecules, we are using artificial respiration. For that, another gas is used known as carbogen. Okay, now that is the seventh answer. Now eighth one, here K2MnO4 is given. You have to find out the oxidation state of manganese. Here this molecule is molecular formula of K2MnO4 is given, and there is no charges. So the sum of the oxidation numbers or oxidation state of the atoms that are present in the formula is equal to 0. So here you can take potassium, its oxidation state or oxidation number of 1 plus 1, and oxygen is taken as minus 2. Now 2 atoms are present for potassium, so 2 into plus 1 plus, we have to find out the oxidation state of manganese, that's why taken as X, plus oxygen atoms are 4, so 4 into minus 2 is equal to 0. Now on simplification, you will get 2 plus X minus 8 is equal to 0, therefore X is equal to plus 2. X stands for manganese, so the oxidation state of manganese is plus 6. So for any of the molecules, we have to use, wherever you find the potassium, you are taken plus 1 only, and oxygen is generally in oxides, you are taken minus 2, but in peroxides, the oxidation state of oxygen is taken as minus 1 only. Please remember this one. When there is a peroxy bond or peroxide molecule, there we can take the oxidation state of oxygen is taken as minus 1, but here all these are oxides, so that it will be oxidation state is taken as minus 2. And the ninth question, what is synthesis gas? Here water gas, some of the carbon